Welcome into week 3 of the rundown here on Big Rapids Daily News. Brandon Wirt, Jack Heckman giving you the good stuff in CSAA football and this week CSAA volleyball at the end. But Jack, I know you were mad last week, so here's redemption. You're home, we're back in Big Rapids, and we got a great interview upcoming with Braylon Councilor talking about the upcoming homecoming game with Newaygo, and especially after some good games last week. We'll break down all the CSAA from last week, as well as we'll preview week 3, and at the end we will touch on CSAA volleyball. The teams that are up, the teams that are down, and what we can expect over the next coming weeks. But before we get into the good stuff, big thanks goes out to Denny's Muffler and Brakes in Big Rapids. If you need car repair, general auto, muffler and brakes, or even just an oil change, you can see them on State Street in Big Rapids, thanks to Denny's Muffler and Brakes, as well as Eagle Village. If you want a job that impacts the lives of youth in the next generation, no matter what your skill set may be, you could be utilized at Eagle Village. Find out more, eaglevillage.org. Eagle Village, where potential soars. All right, Jack, let's get into the good stuff. We'll start, obviously, with the Cardinals, and we'll talk to Braylon, especially his perspective later, but 39-7 is a butt whooping. At the end of the day, they knew this was a game that they could win handily. You talked about it being a trap game. Seems like mentally they were all right, and they got the job done.
Yeah, 100%. Seltzer's boys came to play. The trenches played well. Cole Heist, pretty good game at quarterback, 12 for 18, a solid amount of passing yards, 4 touchdowns from him, 2 rushing, 2 passing. Pretty solid game. I mean, the boys came to play, didn't fall for the trap, and got the win.
A lot of big plays indeed for Coach Seltzer in that offense. And then you look at Reed City against Belding. This was a big one. I think a lot of people might have expected the outcome, but not by the margin, especially shutting out a really good Belding team. Defensively, they played their tails off. And that Coyote group defensively had a game of the year type of performance. And especially they got back to that ground game. 3 guys over 70 yards rushing. That's what they want out of that team.
Yeah, 100%. Last week, or the week before last week, week 1, they had 3.1 rushing yards. This past week, 5.34. That is a huge margin. You know, you're getting half the first down. You're getting at the very next play. That's exactly how the Coyotes need to play football this year.
Absolutely. Some big stuff for Coach, really for Coach Schenkel in that rivalry. A little bit, you know, the storyline of former Coach Monty Price in that matchup. But Coyotes get the job done. So does Grant. 35-0 over Hesperia. After week 1, Kelloggsville was a tough go-around. They face a little bit of a depleted Panthers team. And Coach Lowry's crew, they ran all over him, and that's what they've wanted to install in the summer since day 1. Run the football well, and finally they did.
Yeah, 100%. You're focused on the run. How about the passing game? 100% completion percentage from Jaden Newton. Only 6 passes, but he had a good amount of passing yards, averaging about 28 yards per pass. Grant came to play, 35-0. That's, I mean, handled business. That's exactly what you want to do against a team like Hesperia.
I'm glad you mentioned the quarterback play because Jaden Newton obviously is a guy that has some shoes to fill right from last year, and he's really bounced back so far really well. Tri-County taking down Sanford Meridian 34-20. Sanford Meridian was a team that we saw at a scrimmage as far as myself and my partner Mark Holcomb, who call on Y102. We saw them. We knew this would be a competitive game. And the Vikings, they get the job done 34-20.
Yeah, 100%. We talked about it. We talked about it back and forth pretty much, you know, the last 3 weeks. If the big 3 can stay healthy from Tri-County, this is a team that you may not want to play come later in the season.
Yeah, if Veltman, Button, as well as that dynamic backfield with Chase Keller, they can be a very dangerous offensive team. Defensively, can they hold? We will find out and wait and see. Chip Hill scraps one out against Morley Stanwood, 27-14. But those that watched that game, it was a lot closer than the margin. Morley Stanwood really didn't play a bad ball game, just couldn't find the end zone compared to what Chip Hills was able to do in the red zone.
Yeah, 100%. Chip Hills, you get the win. That's exactly what you want to do against a team like Morley Stanwood. Don't necessarily fall for the trap, but like you said, this is a game that could have gone either way, and getting that 2-score lead for Chip Hills may be the momentum boost they need for the rest of the season.
We will wait and see. Chip Hills obviously with a tough test ahead. We'll preview that here later on. Central Malcolm Newaygo, a dogfight, 28-24, and it took a comeback in the fourth quarter from the Hornets. It looked like Coach Lang as well as the Lions had their first win of the season, but Coach Cripe's squad had something in store, and they were able to come back and win this one.
Yeah, 100%. 16 unanswered in the fourth quarter. That's something that you pray for, and that's a comeback that definitely some people might have seen, a lot of people didn't see, but that's a great win for the Hornets.
We'll see if Newaygo can bounce back this week against a tough opponent that they'll be playing on this field behind us. Saugatuck against Lakeview. Really, this was a one-sided affair. The Trailblazers beat the Wildcats. Lakeview, they're still trying to find their identity. They're still trying to find out who those guys are. Amari Lane seems to be that guy for them defensively, but you can't rely on one guy to get you 14 tackles a game or whatever he's averaging right now.
Yeah, 100%. He's at 21 tackles on the season. That's a guy who's coming to play for Lakeview. Maybe the rest of the team may be regretting that about an hour 30 drive down to Saugatuck.
Yeah, and White Cloud certainly had a tough sailing indeed, playing against Harrison. Obviously, a big score line. Indians right now are really kind of hit rock bottom, but there's a lot of winnable games, especially this week. This is in a very important week for that football team against Hesperia, who just lost to Grant. Now or never. Get your go time moving forward right now. Momentum has got to be this week.
Yeah, 100%. I was looking at stats earlier. The largest loss in White Cloud school history was a 92-0 loss to Hesperia back in 2000. That same year, they allowed 500 points. They did. And, this is a game that White Cloud has to win.
Yeah, you knocked the dust off the archive book to get that one. And then finally, Kent City looks like a really good football team. And the White right now, they are holding the cards right now, especially beating Godwin 16-6. Scored all in the first half, and that defense they've been known for. Coach Gropp's crew loves to lock it down with a lead, and they did so again. Textbook win there against Godwin.
Yeah, 100%. Looking at stats this morning, 1 total yard from Godwin Heights. Rushing. That is something you look at, your trenches, playing strong. You're not letting them get to that second level, not let them get past your second level. That's a team that definitely came to play. Only 16 points, but hey, you got to be happy with that win 16-6.
Godwin is a very scrappy team, and I'm sure that Coach Gropp is going to take that 9 times out of 10. So that's the recap for week 1. And with that, we're going to transition. We're going to bring our man in here, Braylon Councilor from Big Rapids, will join us here momentarily. Now joining us here, fresh out of practice, the man, the myth, the legend, Braylon Councilor of Big Rapids Cardinal football joining us here. Braylon, hey, welcome to the show, my man. Good to have you on.
Thank you.
I know it's a very important week. It's homecoming week for you guys, so just talk about looking up to Newaygo. Obviously, a big game on tap, but a lot of festivities as well. Just talk about how homecoming means to you and for all this town and all the Cardinal fans out there.
Well, homecoming means a lot. Obviously, you want to put a whooping on the team when it's homecoming, and we got the dance on Saturday, so that's fun, obviously, and homecoming volleyball game tonight, so it's just homecoming week, Big
it
week
is
for us.
There's a lot of things on deck, and obviously we'll talk about the football game here later on. But let's talk about last week. Fruitport, you guys knew coming in. You guys are the better team. You put it out on the field. Just talk about the execution of that game plan and getting the job done against the Trojans.
We knew that we were the better team going into that, but it was just about being locked in and trying to get better every day of that week and wanted to execute perfectly. I mean, there was obviously some mistakes, but we tried to execute the best we could and got better every week last practice. So.
Absolutely. And you guys, especially for you on the offensive line, Jack Bowman, insert any other running back, honestly, that's gotten touches. They have gotten yards from you guys up front. Just talk about you and your whole crew up front and what you've been able to do to be successful here through the first 2 weeks of the season, including Paw Paw.
Well, the line up front actually has gelled together really well. It was a worry for me at the start of the season just because there's a lot of new guys, but everyone's done well. We stay low. We get a good push, and that was a worry coming into the season, but I think we're handling it pretty well.
What do you think are the strengths with this team as far as what you guys can see this year with this group? What do you think are the things that can get you somewhere? I know you guys are going to be hunting. We'll talk about goals in a minute, but what are those strengths that you think are with this year's team?
I think we have a lot of strengths because we have a lot of experience. Like, everyone knows what's going on. We can check plays to different things, but, I mean, we can throw the ball, we can run the ball. I think we got it all really this year.
For sure. And I have to ask you here before we get into the fun stuff of football, what's your favorite pizza? You've probably tried a bunch of them. I know, obviously, pizza in Paris with the ties there. What's the go-to pizza for those that need to know?
It's a meat pizza.
The meat pizza.
The meat pizza, yep.
Is that exactly how it reads on the menu? I'm not familiar. I know there's like an extravagant like Meatzilla something
Probably,
or whatever it is.
something like
Okay,
that.
so that's the one. So now you know it. Pizza in Paris. You know exactly where to go. Sponsor of Cardinal football. But Braylon, especially with the games on deck, obviously Newaygo, you guys will probably play Tri-County very soon. You got Reed City as well. I know you're really looking forward to that game with the rivalry, as is everybody that's watching the show. What are the big keys for you guys going into conference play, right? 2-time champions, right, going into this year. What's the mindset for you guys in conference games and trying to get a third?
Dominate. That's the mindset. It's always been the mindset. It's like we got to go in every week with the same mindset. We're not taking any team lightly, anything like that. We got to do the same thing, locked in every week, every practice.
What is it going to take, do you think? I know you guys have put in a lot of summer work and getting in ready for this season, especially after, reflecting from last year's group. I know obviously you were banged up quite a bit of that year, but just talk about what you see from this year's team compared to last year that can take you far, conference championships and even furthermore.
I think it's just another year of experience. It's all a lot of the same guys, and a lot of guys are coming back, and we're just ready to go. It's just, yeah.
You're just excited. You want to be out there right now with these guys, right? The middle school guys.
Yeah.
But Braylon, thank you so much for joining us. Last question for you, though. I'm going to give you 30 seconds of camera time to tell people why they should show up and see you guys play Newaygo this Friday night.
I would say show up in the homecoming game. It's a huge game for us. We're going to dominate Newaygo, and we got a lot of talent this year. Come out and watch us.
All right, there you go. There's the man himself. Braylon, thank you so much for joining us here, and good luck this week.
Appreciate it.
Big thanks to Braylon Councilor for joining us on the show. We will shout out our broadcast information here in just a moment. But, of course, our other sponsors along the way, including RivalsMI.com. Everyone's got a rival, and obviously, Jack, we do right now. I mean, my shirt looks better than yours. It's okay. You can admit it if you want to. So if you want the Beat RC shirts, Beat BR shirts for Week 5 on this very field, Big Rapids and Reed City, as well as chip merchandise, as well as other schools around the CSAA to represent your team in the rivalry mitts, you can go to RivalsMI.com for more information. As well as big thanks goes out to Dazos Digital. Target your target audience with all streaming advertising needs. Visit DazosDigital.com for more. All right, Jack, we heard obviously from the man himself that's been through practice in Braylon. But Newego's a team, right? We've seen, obviously, they played well against Central Montcalm last week. Just could not close the door. But for Big Rapids, they keep that run game going, and defensively up front, they seem solid. They are going to be favorites in this one, and they can win on this field on Friday night.
Oh, 100%. You could talk about all the momentum. It's homecoming week. These boys are excited to play on Friday in front of the whole town. You get a good amount of people out here. These boys want to play in front of a crowd, and that's exactly what they're going to do on Friday. This is a team they have the momentum. They can do it. A team like Newego, couple rough losses, and a team that was heavily favored as a preseason team to, go out, win some games. You only win, you favored to win maybe 3 games in the conference, but in a conference like this, you have a lot of teams that are playing around the same, and a loss early season in conference like this for a team like Newego, that's 3 straight losses to lose the season. That is not how you want to start with a brand new coach.
You only have 5 games in conference, so you got to make every single one count, and it's going to be homecoming for Big Rapids as well as homecoming for Reed City. They're going to be taking on Chip Hills over on M20, and for Chip Hills, they got the win last week against Moe Stanwood. Wasn't the prettiest. They showed some offensive spark that we saw a little bit from Manistee, but they really got shut down offensively. But obviously, Hunter McGuire, they got to get him, Clay Farrell, going offensively. And defensive side of the ball is probably the most concerned. Can they stop the Reed City run game? That's going to be the question that will probably decide this football game in Reed City Friday.
Yeah, 100% Reed City. They got the speed. Do you have the speed to stop Hunter McGuire, who can make plays in that backfield? He's got the ability to, extend plays, make plays you don't usually see from a high school quarterback. Can his wide receivers catch the ball? Can his line hold their blocks? Can his, those tight ends chipping, those running backs chipping? It all has to come together for this Chip Hills team to win.
They absolutely will. And Reed City, they're going to be relying on those backs, but especially how do they utilize in that scheme some of those guys on the interior, like Tyler Woodside, like some of these other guys on the offensive line. They move a lot of guys around. They're a very deep team this year, and we've been able to see that energy on tape, especially with the 3 in the backfield of Keanis Deitch as well as Kompic. Looking at some other games as well, Tri-County will be having homecoming. They're going to be playing against the Grant Tigers. Really good opportunity for Coach Butler's team to be 3-0, and that's exactly where they want to be to start the year. Big win against Ovid. They got away and beat the Mustangs last week. Man, if they go in 3-0, that's exactly where you want to be with a gauntlet of a schedule ahead. Going to be playing Big Rapids, Reed City, and Newego the next 3 games after this week.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough stretch, but I've liked how they've kind of used Chase Keller in the backfield. They're moving him in on motions, lining him out wide, making him come back to the backfield, grab that ball, and take it 15 yards up the field and get a first down. This is a versatile Vikings team that may be able to, schematically play better than a team how you don't expect them to use their players. That's exactly how this Vikings team, I think, can take advantage of a lot of teams this season.
Absolutely. Grant is going to have to get the ground game going. That's going to be a must if Coach Lowry's team can get a victory and upset the Vikings on homecoming. Looking at some other games as well in the CSAA White, Central Montcalm against Lakeview. For the Hornets, get the ball to the outsides. Jameson Johns has had a monstrous start of the year, and you've obviously looked at other guys, that have been through the program, Zane Cooper and these guys. They've been successful. Coach Kripe has made them successful. For them, defensively, you take care of things, that offense is going to take care of itself.
Yeah, 100%. And this Lakeview Wildcats team coming in this one, only 6 points on the season, came against Saugatuck this past week. This is a team, Central Montcalm, they're throwing the ball around, they're playing really well. 28 points this week, previous week 36 points. This is a high-scoring offense that can definitely take advantage of the Wildcats.
We'll see what this team will be able to do, especially now that the CSAA White games are in full slate. Conference means everything. We've seen crazier things happen. Moe Stanwood at Kent City. Eagles are favorite. There's no doubt about it. But Coach Chapman's group played their best game so far this year last week. They really played good football against Chip Hills. They didn't get the outcome and they didn't get the points, but they moved the football. They should feel confident going into this game. And then lastly, in the CSAA White Cloud against Hesperia. I think for White Cloud, scrap the last 2 weeks. Obviously, there's things to build on and there's things to improve on. Scrap the results. This is a new week.
You talked about how they kind of want to forget it. Well, our job is to not forget what happened at the beginning of the season. This is a team that's allowed over 100 points in combined games, about 59.5 per game, and there's 2 games. This is a team that's almost on pace to break their record of most points allowed in a single season, and that was the 2000 White Cloud team. They allowed 500 points that season. They haven't lost 3 straight games to begin a season since 2012, and they they shut out, I should say, in the first 3 games of the season since 2012. This is a team that year didn't score until week 5. This is
wow.
I mean, you got to win this game if you're White Cloud.
It's a must-win indeed for Coach Trice's group, and especially it's going to be a great football slate. You can catch myself, Mark Holcomb, on the call for the Coyotes for Reed City against Chip Hills on Y102, 102.3 FM, as well as WYBR.com. And it's a home game, so we'll have our stream over on Huddle. You can find more information on Reed City's website. And then Big Rapids will be here against Newaygo. You can catch Coach Scarpelli as well as Jason Kostecki on the call for that one. That will be on 100.9 Big Country, WWBR.com. And you can find out more information there. You'll get to hear from Jack as well, who'll be giving us all of our score updates, which he does such a great job with, keeping us up to date around the league. You can find out more information on those respective websites. Let's take a look now here, Jack. We'll wrap it up with our other fall sport highlight. We'll talk about some volleyball. Really what you need to know right now is Reed City is that team. They are good. 8-1 so far to start the year. It really feels like Coach Patterson's group, they have the talent to win this conference this year. It has been a great start. 1 loss to Buckley. They have the tools offensively. You look behind those teams in the standings, there's a lot of teams that are beating one another that are 1-1 so far the year, whether it's Newaygo, whether it's Grant, whether it's Big Rapids, who are going to make a second-half push. And then you have Tri-County and Chip Hills right there that are fighting in the middle as well. Right now, those teams are all catching Reed City. If somebody doesn't beat Reed City, at least one, it's going to be a wash because it feels like all these other teams behind them are battling within each other. So somebody's got to knock off Reed City because right now they look like they could clean the slate for how well they're playing.
Yeah, 100%. Even just looking at back here last year with a 3-way tie for first place, you said it. If nobody beats Reed City, this is one of the best Reed City teams we've seen.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting indeed. They are led. Baumgardner, Hammond, and co. have been really good for Coach Patterson's group. We've seen some other good individual play that we'll highlight later on from these other teams as well. But a lot of non-conference games early on for some of these teams, including looking at Grant, Newaygo, Tri-County, all of them with 8 games. Big Rapids has actually played the most games this year already with 10 matches overall. So we'll see if their experience can get a spark going later in the year. We flip over now to the CSAA White, Kent City and Morley Stanwood. We knew it was going to be a 2-horse race likely at the top again. We're seeing that so far. Morley has taken care of business so far, but will they prevail against Kent City? That's the question mark, right? Kent City was the tournament winner last year. Can that team reload and take down the Eagles, especially what they lost last year to the collegiate level? They're going to need a really good game to beat them, but maybe, just maybe, we see White Cloud, Morley Stanwood, White Cloud, Lakeview, as well as Central Montcalm, maybe try to play spoiler, but they're going to have to play really good games so far from what we've seen on film.
Yeah, 100%. Kent City, Morley Stanwood, convenient we're talking about, and they tied for it last year. These are going to be 2 teams that are going to definitely go at it, and they're definitely going at it hard.
It's going to be a fun volleyball season ahead. You can find out more information at MHSAA.com for the standings, all the scores, and more. That's going to do it for this episode of The Rundown. Big thanks to Braylon Councilor. If you want to be a part of our local sports coverage, be sure to give us a call, 796-7000 at the Big Rapids Media Network. We'd be happy to have you on. Big thanks to our sponsors, including Denny's Muffler and Brakes, Eagle Village, RivalsMI.com, and Dazos Digital. We appreciate that, and we appreciate all of you. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to follow wherever you get this show, and we will see you next week. Jack, we'll see you Friday night, my man.
Yes, we will. Go Cardinals.
No. Go Coyotes. It's going to be great. Follow along with us at Big Rapids Daily News and on WBRN.com.